Throughout my 30-year journey as a computer user and gaming enthusiast, I've had the opportunity to test and experience a wide variety of mousepads. Each one offered unique features and varying levels of performance, enabling me to fine-tune my preferences and gain valuable insight into the world of mousepads. In this video, I want to share with you guys one of the pads that stands out. I've been using the Artisan Zero mousepad for about 6 months, and I'll do my best to compare it to other mousepads I've tried, as well as provide a brief review after 6 months of use. Other pads I've tried include SteelSeries QCK Heavy, Logitech G640, Razer Goliathus, Zoe GSR, GSRC, Artisan Hain Soft, and Artisan Hain Mid. Glide. Initially, I wasn't a fan of the pad's feel, as it seemed much faster than any other cloth pad I'd tried. However, after a week of use, it broke in and the glide became incredibly smooth and unique compared to others. Even after 6 months, the pad still feels fantastic and glides consistently, which is crucial compared to other cloth control pads I've tried. The stopping power is excellent, not as intense as the GSR but still very good. And overall, the glide and stopping power are well balanced and nearly perfect for a control pad. Surface. Again, I wasn't fond of the initial feel, as it was quite scratchy and rough out of the box. However, it was perfect after about 2 weeks. I chose the mid variant, which works for me. In my opinion, Surface is very similar to QCK but a little bit more rough. Even though it is a mid version, the hardest available for this model, it's still pretty soft. But I don't have this feeling that I am pressing into a memory foam pillow. After 6 months of use, the texture is much smoother and no longer rough like in the beginning. One thing to note is that it does attract dust and hair, but a quick wash each month and it should be like brand new. Build quality. I wish all companies would adopt Artisan stitching, as it's the best I've experienced, even though I'm not typically a fan of stitched edges. Generally, I don't prefer mousepads with stitched edges, as the sensation of rubbing my forearm against them can be irritating. To fix this issue, I positioned the pad at the edge of the table, leaving about ½ inch of the stitched border hanging off the surface. But I have to admit that the stitching on all Artisan pads are exceptional and unlikely to bother you while gaming unless you are me. As for the base, some people have mentioned that it can slide around on certain desks. However, an easy fix is to put a few drops of water under the mousepad or on the base. Personally, I use it on top of my QCK, so it's not an issue. Overall, the build quality is outstanding and the pad has a sleek, minimal and premium appearance on your desk. Comparison to other pads. It's challenging to compare the Zero to any of the other pads I've tried. It might be somewhat similar to the QCK and is slightly faster than the GSRC, but it's still entirely different. In terms of stopping power, the closest comparison might be the QCK Heavy, as Artisan mentioned it's close to the QCK. However, for me, it's not similar, except maybe in stopping power. Everything else is just better and distinct. My thoughts. I genuinely like the Zero pad. And as someone who prefers control pads over speed, I can confidently say that this is one of the best control pads available. Almost every aspect is well executed and there haven't been any issues even after long-term use. Would I recommend it? Absolutely. Is it my primary pad? Yes. I appreciate the Zero because it reminds me a bit of the QCK, which I've used for over a decade. I give it a solid 9/10 and highly recommend it to anyone seeking a premium, high-quality control pad. So here you have it. Now it's your turn to share your thoughts and experiences. To those watching this video, please let me know in the comments below what kind of mousepad you currently use, your opinions on Artisan mousepads, and whether you think they're worth the investment. Artisan mousepads come with a higher price tag, so I would love to hear if you think the cost is justified based on their performance and quality. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more. See you in the next one.